What is up, everybody? It's Joe from JLW Games coming at you with another cool video back in Planet Coaster. Today we're going to be doing a quick tutorial. I don't want to take up too much time. It's going to be a quick tutorial on the path system in Planet Coaster. A lot of people don't care for the path system, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make some smoother paths. A lot of people have done a tutorial on this, but I'm just going to do a quick one in case you guys haven't seen it before. So basically what I'm going to start off with is a basic thing is show you kind of how this works. So we're going to place down a couple path pieces. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's go ahead and do 5, and then we'll go into the middle. 1, 2, and we'll do 1, 2. So basically what we have here is a cross. I'm going to go ahead and set the width down for this. So if you ever have like 90-degree angled paths and everything like that, and if you want them that way, that's perfectly fine. But a lot of paths kind of flow and has some of the smoothness to it, and paths are everywhere. So sometimes you might want to kind of smooth this angle or section with this section, you know. But if you have like a 90-degree building right here, maybe you don't want that and you can leave it the way it is. But if you want to smooth out paths, it's very, very simple. One of the most important keys that you're going to want to use is your Z key or Z key, depending on where you are in the world. You can use angle snap, but I usually like to turn angle snap off. And what you can see, it's very important to see the highlighted sections here when you go in the corner here. If you hold your Z or Z key, it will let you angle your pathway in any direction, kind of as long as you're holding it. So that's a very useful tool for when you're doing paths as well. So you can kind of have more control over that, but you're going to have to hold it in order to get into that corner. So basically what we want to do is we're going to place this down. And when you place down that, you have obviously this smaller path. Now, if you right click it or delete it, it's going to smooth out your angle path into a nice smooth curve. And this is a easy way to get curves in between your paths, and you can go ahead and do it. If you see the highlighted sections, that is the sections that it's going to try and curve for you. So you want to try and do that. So you can see it's going to curve it that way. If I go further, it's going to curve it a little bit more. So it's going to curve it from one spot to the other. So we can actually go in and do it to all sides here, and you can see that we have nice curves and sections for these pathways, and you can use this for, like, say, a cross path like this. It makes it look very nice and just kind of makes your path flow very, very well if you want to do it that way. So that is just kind of the basics of smoothing your paths. It's a very useful tool. Now, if you go into a little more advanced work, let's say if we make kind of like a winding path here, but we want to make it look a little bit more realistic. So let's start off with kind of a bigger path right here, just kind of doing this little bend here. And then let's go ahead and add some character. I might change the width of it a little bit. And we're going to hold down the Z or Z key. And we're going to kind of angle it wherever we want. And then just kind of have a corresponding path kind of going around here that will connect at one point to the other side. Again, holding the Z key is very, very useful. Now already this is already looking pretty decent, but if we go down in the width, there's a couple things we can do. If just basically what you want to do is you can just, one option is to go in here and smooth out kind of like these corners here. Now one thing to note, it doesn't always work. So like, for instance, going right here, it didn't delete it. So it's more so a glitch than anything. If that kind of makes sense, it's sort of its own little glitch. So sometimes you got to be careful with it and just kind of trial and error until you kind of get what you want out of it. And then sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate. So it's kind of one of those kind of weird things. So if I did that, smooth those out, let's get a little bit of thicker path here. Maybe add a little bit of an angle, and then maybe smooth these out, whoops, as much as possible. and you don't have to necessarily do it, but it makes it look like, it might help making this look like it was, you know, this doesn't look like a path piece. It looks like I just kind of painted it in, you know, kind of like the pathing system that we do want. So it just kind of gives it that kind of idea for the path itself. And then for the kind of the opening spots, you have a couple different options here. You can either put in a path cover to cover it up, to make it look like it's one big path, or you can actually go in and make it look pretty with some planters and stuff. So we can go ahead and maybe place down some trees in here, maybe do a couple of trees. Never a bad option, obviously, to do a couple trees in here, and then maybe get some bushes to correspond with that. So like maybe turn line the surface off, and just kind of decorate these in here very nicely, you know, and really good. So we have that. You can even put in some flowers to make it look very pretty. I'm just kind of throwing something together here really quick. So just something that you can easily do. Now you can go ahead and, if you want to use your say curbs on ground paths, and you want to use the end game curbs, that's fine. But if you want to go one step further, sometimes I like to make my own custom curbs, and they can look a little bit more realistic in my opinion sometimes. So you can go with like different options here. Just kind of, there's so many different pieces that you can use, but sometimes I'll go into the column section and just kind of find what kind of texture I'm looking for this. Sometimes I'll go with a wooden, just kind of wood of a wooden kind of curb. Sometimes can work. It just also can depend on kind of the theming that you want to go with as well. So if I wanted to do like a wooden curb, you can change it again, change kind of the color that you want. You can go through and just maybe turn off angle snap here. Just go through here and just kind of align it. And yes, this will be a little more time consuming, but if you want something to look a little bit better, sometimes you need to do that. And you can actually change the sizes here, which I do recommend changing the sizes. So if you're like in a long straight piece, use the longer pieces, but if you're going into a curb, use the smaller pieces for some of this. So it just kind of in the end kind of makes a little bit more sense. But you can kind of get the idea of what this kind of creates for your parks and everything. It will just add that little hint of realism, and you can have a little bit more customization with your paths, and it just makes your paths, in my opinion, look a little bit, or a lot better. Not a little bit better, a lot better, because they look like they're more flowing and a little bit smoother than just placing down straight paths, you know. This is very helpful for many different scenarios. So but I highly recommend doing this if you're trying to create more of a closer to realistic park. It's definitely, I definitely highly recommend it. There's also, like I said, there's quite a few different videos on kind of this, on how it works, but for the most part, this is how I kind of do it. And again, you can always use some like path covers. There's some good path cover sets in the workshop that doesn't even use any toolkit items too. So it's always worth mentioning and trying to go figure it out. So I'm not going to do the other one for now. I'm just going to kind of limit it to just this, so you guys can just kind of get the idea here as the autosave goes through. Since we don't have much, it's not going to bother us too much, but kind of just keep like I said, change your size. It's good to use a curb piece that where you can have adjustable sizes. If you use bigger pieces, one that only has larger pieces, it can get a little bit difficult at times, but for the most part, it should be pretty good. So like I said, you can do that, and then once you have like some curbs and stuff, go ahead and decorate it a little bit with some path extras, like some park benches and stuff like that, and just kind of finish it off, you know. Maybe not that many benches, but and then maybe get some trash cans or something to kind of go over here. And then the final kind of piece is maybe some lighting, some street lamps, you know, some lamps that kind of go across. There's a lot of different ones to choose from. We'll just use, I like the Victorian lamp if you do have the DLC. I think it's I forgot which DLC exactly it goes to, but it's one of my favorite lamps in the game. So you just kind of maybe put these in the corners, and just like that you have a nice lovely little planter in the middle of your path that, as you can tell, I did this in, you know, under 10 minutes, which is actually really cool. This section anyway, so. But then you can, like, you know, decorate with buildings, put your rides and everything like that, and it is a nice, beautiful path. But it's a very useful tool to use, and you can continue kind of shaping your paths up. So, like, always wait until you're happy with your path before you start doing, like, custom curbs and stuff, because it could affect those eventually. But yeah, this is how you can kind of make some wider paths and just kind of some nice flowy paths that really kind of look nice, you know. And like I said, if you want to, you can go ahead and put in some, I don't know, let's just throw in some Main Street blueprints here that I might have. I don't know, say like one of these shops. And then you can continue your curbs, if you wanted to, continue your curbs down the line here. And then you could just kind of mess with it, maybe get some, I don't know, this is just kind of throwing stuff together. I would definitely recommend, obviously, making your own from scratch. It's always the better idea, but if you don't want to. And you can even, like, sometimes I'll even go over pathways, sometimes, like, if I need to, or if I want to, and I will put curbs over it, so guests are not likely to, you know, step through them. So you can do a lot of different stuff with it, but, like, even if you want to use blueprints, you can work around it and make it look good. So as you can see, look at we already have a little bit of a Main Street here, and under, you know, like 12 or so minutes already built here. So that's kind of nice. But like I said, if you want to make more realistic parks, you definitely need to use this kind of smoothing with your pathways and stuff, and it really becomes a very useful tool in the end. So like I said, if you want to practice with it, it's always good to start off with a cross. If you kind of want to sharpen your skills, then go with like a flowy path and stuff like that. And you can always, like I said, build these pathways up even more. So like if I wanted to do this, you can see how that slowly starts to form, and if you stretch it out a bit, you can actually get some extra pieces there. So it's just kind of however you want to do it. So like if I wanted to extend this, like I said, sometimes it doesn't work, but you can see the highlighted spots. That is the parts that it's going to affect. So but like I said, don't build anything around it until you know you're happy with their path shaping and everything. And I hope this helped you guys in the end to help create some more realistic, nice, flowy, smooth paths. I just kind of wanted to do my own little tutorial on this in case you guys haven't seen one. And this has helped me out tremendously if you guys ever wondered how to get some better paths. So remember, you got to know the Z and /Z key to help you out with that. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys create some awesome stuff. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you comment, like, and subscribe for more amazing content like this. And I'll try to be pushing out some more tutorials for you guys to kind of show you off how I get some stuff done. But anyways, thank you guys. Have a great day and even cooler tomorrow. And I'll catch you guys next time. Thanks and goodbye.